PhD, you're finally showing up because you can now, because regardless of popular belief, you went to school to be a brain surgeon to operate on brains. So when you go in there as if you got a lab jacket on. Go in there, focus. It's your job. Nobody's going to celebrate you after you hang it up, take those rubber gloves off. You're on to the next case. And that's the mindset. Because number two, they go out and they make it official. They make it relevant that they are. They get an LLC. They start to do a little more awareness. They start working harder inside of their place or under the roof that they obtain. And what you'll find when you see that is you still are in a place where you want something for your hard work that you're supposed to be doing anyway, because no one told you to hire yourself for that job. You got to stop thinking something is owed to you. These are where those feelings of removing ego and being so prideful. People don't give a shit about what you know. They only say, I'm proud of you, because they can't figure out how the fuck you keep getting to new levels out. They don't care that you're actually winning. So you stop caring about that aspect as well. Nobody cares you got a door to open. They're mad because they don't have one. And you're thinking they're celebrating you where they're really envying you. So what you got to do is bite down and start changing your character and implementing new characteristics of solemn spirits and focus, marking down the list what your focus and goals are for these people to serve, and marking those things off of the list. Once you have the wherewithal to stop focusing on you, the guy who's in the hustler phase starts to acquire a little software, a couple of people working for them on Fiverr or Upwork or somewhere, volunteers, because you can go to the schools, just like I said, and you can go get thought leaders. They got a program over at all the colleges now. A little per diem can change everything. And that's what a hustler will eventually start doing. And once they start doing that, the little media is getting done. They're able to pay more attention on what's coming in and what's going out. They're starting to have spreadsheets now. It's becoming a little something. They can see past the dark. And there might be a month where there's actually profit when you're in that phase, if you take the right steps. If it's going like this, you're still in the hustler phase. If it's going like this, even if it's high, if it's going like this, because when you really learn to serve and you get people in and you sacrifice your time to educate, that's where you start to see the difference in what you are actually here to do. You start to feel that you're doing something that actually matters to the people, because they don't give two flying batshits about your certification, your actual gym, none of that. Your skills that you've acquired, they chew your leg off to have them. But the fact that they don't have that ability, they have to come to you. And remember, that's why they come in, to take everything you got. That's why I give it to the people. You take it and see what you can do with it without the education. And I've said that and I've stood on that. That's why my page does what it does. Because I'm like, okay, see what you can do. People like, oh, I've been using so much, I'm learning this. I said, well, you're always going to get a test at what you think you know. You can always go take the test, right? Because the reality is you can't do that against nobody that's real. So we got to really move ourselves back because phase three, we go to baller stage. And that's when you started to make decisions that hiring or making yourself a clone, whether that's in software, whether that's in little areas that people can come fill the void, and that's not so costly. It's not even going to tap into your budget, but you got to sacrifice that because until you're doing that, it's still about you. That's where the resistance comes. That's where when you wanted it to happen, it won't happen like you wanted it to because you're not committing like you need to. Because there's so much you don't understand that has the word the, THE, and WHY. The why is why it's not happening. Why isn't it consistent? It's all the underlying thing that we're here doing now, education and operation. And when you got those two and they starting to talk, and then you add a gasoline tank filled with persistence, that's where the results come from, not from YouTube. There ain't no person that'll tell you the truth that they did something that they just saw on YouTube and their business just blew up. Your business, if your business blows up from YouTube, your business was already blowing up. You were just holding it back and you accepted a responsibility to do something that just needed to be done. The reality is when you get to that baller phase, you're starting to get profit and it's starting to seem real. And you're starting to have programs running because you've allowed yourself to separate from the facility. The facility is no longer holding you hostage. You have the vision that you started to get motivated from that got you going into this thing in the first place. That vision started to culminate, it started to happen, and it started to permeate. That's motivating you to step back and be humble and really understand how to serve and talk to the people. How can I be honored to even work with you? What brought you here? When you ask those questions, it's not about, okay, let me just get this answer. They're going to tell you the same thing because you're not digging deep enough in the conversation with them. It's where it's coming from that's giving you that response that they're giving you if they're giving you the same old lame reason. I had to lose weight. I like coming here. You train good. I'm going to tell you, I know people that have been going to places for years that they hate going. You see, the truth lies within being open and honest and vulnerable. The fact of the matter is people don't love working out. People know they got to work out. So you're also selling something people don't want to do. So get the truth out of them. And when you start getting the truth out of them, that's when you go from baller phase to the well phase. Because now you actually are getting the truth from people and they are being multiplied. And all it takes is operating your media the right way, your website can capture, and your ads can send people to it. For those who do not know how great you do what you do, when you do what you do as great as they feel like you do, then yeah, they're going to start talking a little bit more because you've opened them up, and they'll start sharing how can they take part. Because once you start talking to them about how can I serve your sister? What is it that she's dealing with that you think I can help her with? These are going into uncomfortable spaces for yourself, but who cares about you? Remember, you're here, you have a mission to accomplish. It's irrelevant how you feel. You see, that's what's held you back. You being the little kid, still in your spirit, you still need affirmation. You still want to be the best in the room, the most noted, even though that's not the case. When you serve right, you'll be the most important in the room. And people will feel as if they can let you know that without it blowing up your ego. People said that to me so many times. I didn't say nothing because I didn't want to blow up your ego. I was like, wow, I don't feed off that though. Because I've always known I've had talent, but ego isn't always something that you walk around with a feather in your cap. Ego is just about the way it's going to land and where it's not going to land. It's not going to motivate you to serve. It's going to make you feel better about yourself. And so that's not selfless. And so people know that by feeling that come off of you. And most people don't even know that that's the case with them. But when you reach that baller phase, everything is starting to happen. You're able to do things that you've never been able to do and make decisions. You learning how to take people who were your opposition and partner with them. And that's when I made clear there's this thing out here called the triangle offense, that anybody that's a competitor ends up becoming your ally to expand the purpose and cause. And if you see every major mogul that's out there, they do work with their competitors. And they don't make them competitors. They make it about purpose, period. That's what happens when you get to that well phase. That's what makes it happen. And selflessness and running of a great operation is how you get yourself from one phase to the next. How many feel like you've held your own self back? Exactly. And that feeling is there because you have, and it is you. And guess what? All you got to do to change that is to get out of your own way and keep figuring out, okay, that was about me. You got to identify what those characteristics about yourself are. Doing well. Yesterday, we had an absolute groundbreaking conversation, constantly making sure we're getting our guys in the right mindset, because one thing's for sure, and this is not a scare tactic, that this year there is going to be a deeper version of this recession that we're in. And that's not the only reason this is important. It's important because the more you know about serving people, the better off you'll be. There are so many things that we overshadow and overlook in the training industry. Many other industries do the same thing, but in this training industry, we are the advocate for human beings and the betterment of their lives. So as we went into this conversation, we broke down all of the real finite things that you're overlooking on a day-to-day basis. It's normal. We're busy, we get overwhelmed, we get stressed, we become anxious, we're tied to our people, and so we're carrying their baggage along with ours. The thing that we wanted to make sure that you guys were conscious of is that there is another level. There's another level of understanding how to operate your business. There is one main reason why there is such a separation between the wealthy and the poor, and that's education. And we created this book titled SPAR. This breaks it all down. Every chamber of the business in which you operate in, regardless of even if you are just a master trainer, but if you're running a business, a brick and mortar, these are the things you do not know.
This is very important to know. And so we extend an offer for you guys to change it so you can do what's going to be necessary to know during a recession, because the people that you're dealing with, they are not going to just, this year is going to change, because we sit on the board and in the boardrooms with the people that are going to change them. And so, preparation on how to run the business that you need to have is advantageous. And I didn't think that when you decide to join, that you thought all you wanted out of it was a little bit. I knew that if you take time to register, sign up anything for anything, that you want more. Now you tell me, do you want more, or do you just want to be in the mass of people who are running it vicariously? Well, running it with an operation mindset and with the order of an army is what we're doing. So we extend the invitation, if not live, order the replay of this entire 3-day immersive, because this is what the wealthy people are doing, those who are having avid success in business and securing themselves where they are and looking only upward, not to the left or to the right or down. They're looking up, and because they have the playbook, and this is the playbook. So I just wanted to reach out and tell you all, we are here to serve you, and wherever you are, we want to meet you there. But we also want to keep our eyes on the prize, which is upstairs, continually to pull you guys upward. So if this message lands on you, invest in the time and the financial investment to take what you're doing to another level, just like your box step and your Philly shell and your peekaboo. It's time to put your eyes on the part of the business that makes that stuff relevant. But there are just so many things that you're going to learn about what's going on actually in the inside of your business. So if this message really lands on you, take liberty to turn what you're doing around, because there's not one single one of you that's not in chaos right now. And so we want to make sure that you guys have the right playbook. SPAR is the right playbook. And we're going to go line by line through it. And when you get done with this thing, you will be a different person when you come on out on the other side. And if you do it immersively, it'll never change. Education, education, education. That's all I got, Coach Bradley, and I'm signing out. Continued blessings to all of my brothers in Top Trainer U, the School of Boxing. Let's take it to your next good. I'll see you soon in the winner's circle. Let's go.